Okay. Hello guys, good evening. First of all, a warm welcome to Oracle Fusion Technical Training at Sanari Training Institute. Today is the first session for your batch, and this is an Oracle Fusion Technical Training course. And before we start today's session, let me introduce myself. My name is Shiva. I'll be your instructor for this course. I have around 15 years of real-time work experience. I'm currently working for top US-based product company. And before this, I worked for top US-based consulting companies. And for the past 5 years, I've been working in Oracle Fusion cloud implementation projects as a technical consultant. Okay, so I worked in a variety of projects from financials as well as HCM domains. Okay, so that's my background. And in today's session, yeah, does anyone else want to introduce yourself? Just say one line about yourself and say what you're looking forward from this course. Why exactly, or what is it that you want to learn from this course? Or if you don't want to speak up, that's absolutely fine. Just drop a line in the chat. We will take a note of it. That's fine. Can everyone else go on mute? We could hear a lot of background noise.
Yeah, hi.
Hello. Hi. Good evening.
Yeah, hi. This is me, John Celestina.
Hello. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so I'm just working in Changes India Private Limited in Chennai. Okay, so
Okay.
I've been in Oracle Fusion Technical. Okay, so I'm just a member. Okay, so so first and all, I was working in Oracle EBS. So recently, I
Okay.
have shifted to the Oracle Fusion Technical. So I
Oh,
want to learn more about it. So I'm just a beginner for this. So
okay.
that this session may be very useful to me, I think. So I want
Yes,
from the base,
it's
so that it will be
it's
helpful for me also. Because right now in project, hello.
yeah. Yes, it's the course is it suits you very well. Okay, this is especially for those yeah, uh, if you have EBS background and if you want to move on to Fusion Technical, or if you want to start your or jumpstart your career or kickstart your career as a Fusion Technical consultant, it helps you very well. We start off from the basics, and we take you to a level where you could label yourself as an expert in Oracle Fusion Technical applications. Okay, in Oracle Fusion applications
Hmm.
as a technical expert. Okay, so
Okay.
yes,
Okay, Shiva.
yeah, after I'm done with the presentation for today, I will walk you through the entire course content so that you get to
Yeah,
know
sure.
what topics will cover as part of this course.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wants to introduce? Please go ahead, guys. Okay, that's fine then. Uh, yes,
Sir,
please
you
go
can
ahead.
start. First, is having audio problem. We will be joining back again.
Okay, no problem. That's fine. Okay, so the agenda for today, yes, since it's the first session, we talk about the introduction bit. So I'll introduce you to Oracle Fusion ERP. So what is this Oracle ERP Cloud all about? Okay, and we'll talk about the architecture of Fusion applications. So what is Fusion applications made of from UI? What do you have in the middleware, and what do you have at the database level? And after that, from point three onwards, we will talk about what exactly you will be doing as a technical consultant in ERP cloud projects. So we know we know our role. We know what we have to do, or what we do as an EBS technical consultant, right? But if you want to become an Oracle Fusion technical consultant, you should know what they are supposed to do. And what they are supposed to do, they are supposed to do all of these activities. And we'll cover all of them in quite detail. So we'll first look at how to load data into cloud applications. And you do it in EBS in a particular way. You would have probably built an inbound, you would have probably developed an inbound interface to dump the data into cloud. And that inbound interface will have again multiple concurrent programs. You might have a loader program, validation program, and then you will submit a standard import program, right? So there is a a standard way of doing things in e-business suite. But when it comes to loading loading data in a cloud, it's done in a completely different way. How do you do it? We'll talk about it more when we reach point 3. We will look at the other side of it. Like first, you will bring in the legacy system data into cloud. You will do some processing. You will carry out the entire cycle in cloud. And then if there are other third-party systems that your client is using, and if those third-party systems need to get information from cloud, and very frequently you will have those scenarios, then how do you extract the data from cloud and share it with the downstream systems? So one of the example could be like in accounts payable module, you make a payment to supplier, right? And you make a payment in cloud, but that is not actually depositing money in the supplier bank account. Someone, a bank needs to transfer that amount, right? So for that reason, what do? You could build, you will, how do you do it in ERP Cloud? In ERP Cloud, you write in eBusiness Suite. In eBusiness Suite, you write a PLSQL package. You will define a payment format for that, and you will extract the payments, generate a file, and place it in SFTP. But when it comes to cloud, it is done in a quite different way. So I'll show you what options you have to extract the data in cloud. We talk about the reporting options in cloud. There are quite a few reporting options available. You could build a BIP report if you have to report on transactions in ERP Cloud, or you could build an OTBA report. BI Publisher, you might have heard of it in eBusiness Suite, but it is done in a completely different way in cloud. Yes, the name is same, the RTF layout is same, but the data source is completely different. Here you build something called as a data model, and then you will build a layout for that data model to convert the XML output into a more readable format. And apart from BI Publisher, you have OTBA as well, which stands for Oracle Transactional Business Intelligence. This OTBA reports, again, this is completely new in cloud. I'll talk about it when we reach this slide. And there is another option called FRC. It stands for Financial Reporting Center. So if you have to build some finance-related reports, you could typically build them using Financial Reporting Center. And we'll also briefly talk about the security in ERP Cloud. So how does a security works in ERP Cloud with the help of roles? So it basically, security in ERP Cloud works with the help of roles. In eBusiness Suite, you have a user, and you will assign responsibilities to the user, right? But in the case of ERP Cloud, you have roles that you will assign to user, and the roles that you will assign to user will determine what that user will be able to do in ERP Cloud. We'll talk about that role-based access control when we come to point number 6. And we'll also briefly talk about the workflow approvals and notifications that we have to send out. And we'll also talk about the UI customizations that you could do. So if you have to configure, say when you hire an employee, if there is a specific approval policies required as per the client, So if client says that when an employee is hired, it should go to 2 levels of approval in the management hierarchy, and finally it should go to someone else approval. So if you have to configure the approval rules, you will be able to do it with the help of a transaction console in cloud. So we'll talk about this in this particular point, and we'll talk about the UI customizations. UI stands for user interface customizations. So if client is not okay with what they are seeing on screen in Fusion applications, they might ask you to change few bits here and there. How do you make those changes? How do you go about making them? Is what we will cover as part of this. Okay, so in UI customizations, there is a level to which you can customize the user interface in cloud. That's because you know the cloud limitation, right? I hope you guys are aware of it. In Oracle ERP Cloud, you don't get access to database. Okay, so in eBusiness Suite, whenever you get a new instance, they will share you a PNS entry, and you could connect to the database with the help of those entries, right? You'll get the host details and the PNS entries, and you could connect to the database of the eBusiness Suite instance. And once you could connect to the database of the eBusiness Suite instance, you could do whatever you want. You can create a table, you can compile a package, PLSQL package, you could do whatever you want. But in ERP Cloud, you don't get access to the database. At maximum, you can run only the select queries. That too, you have to go into the reports and analytics work area, and you could write a select statements from there. Okay, so let's get started, guys. So that's the agenda for today's session. And yeah, the training will be focusing on Oracle Fusion ERP cloud applications. So what are the key features of Oracle ERP cloud applications? ERP cloud, it's an integrated suite of business applications, grouped into product families. What kind of product families do we have? If I go to the next slide, you could see that the Fusion applications is a complete modular suite of applications. You have a cloud applications like Oracle Fusion Financial Management. This is a Financials Cloud. This is HCM Cloud. This is SCM Cloud, Supply Chain Management Cloud. This is PPM Cloud. This is Procurement Cloud, and this is CRM Cloud. And this is GRC Cloud. So you have different cloud applications. And yes, all of them are quite popular, especially the finance and HCM. Yes, but others are also quite frequently used by clients. And these top level grouping, it is called a product family, like the finance, HCM, SCM, PPM. This is called a product family. And inside each product family, you have sub modules. Like if you take the finance product family, what modules do you have in there? A GL, AP, AR, payments and collections, fixed assets, cash management, etc. If you take HCM, you have HCM related modules in there like payroll, global HR, compensation management, benefits, performance and goals management. SCM related modules, inventory, order management, etc. PPM, project related modules. So similarly, the Fusion applications, it's a complete and a modular suite of applications. Modular suite because you have again sub modules inside each product family. And it's an integrated suite of business applications which can satisfy the requirements of any client. So it doesn't matter whether the client is from industry sector or whether he's from medical or healthcare or a banking sector. It doesn't really matter. Every client will be able to plug in their requirements, or the Fusion applications can handle the requirements that the clients have. Okay, so that's why it's called a complete and a modular suite of applications. And and another biggest benefit of Fusion applications is these modules can talk to each other. What do I mean by that? So if you create a ledger in GL, and when you create an AP invoice or AR invoice, if you do the accounting, you can transfer the entries to the ledger that you have configured in GL. So these modules can talk to each other, and the modules across the product families also can talk to each other. Say, for example, if your client is implementing a finance and HCM, in HCM, when a payroll is run, what do we do in payroll? We pay salaries to employees, right? That is a financial transaction. And whenever a financial transaction is done, it needs to be accounted and it needs to be reported it needs to be reported to the legal authorities. So for that reporting to happen, after the payroll is run, the entries needs to be costed, and that entries needs to be transferred to GL. So it's like the modules within a product family talk to each other, and the modules across product families also talk to each other. Say, for example, if you take the case of SCM, after you ship the sales order and close it, you will notice that the data gets inserted into the AR interface table, and invoice gets created automatically because you have raised a sales order and you have shipped something to the customer. And what's the next thing that you have to do? You will have to get the cash from them, right? What does Amazon do? You log into Amazon, you buy something, and yes, sir, it's up to you whether you want to make the payment upfront or not. But if you opt for cash on delivery, what do you do? What do the Amazon delivery guy do? They will deliver the product and they will collect the cash from you. Similarly, after you fulfill the order in the order management, you will have to raise an AR invoice and send it across to the customer. You have to tell them that, boss, this is the amount that you need to pay, and there will be a payment terms in there which will indicate how much time he'll have to make the payment. So I'm giving a couple of I'm giving these examples to let you understand that yes, it's a complete and a modular suite of applications. Modules can talk to each other within product family, and modules across product families can also talk to each other. And the modules and the cloud applications are designed to ensure that your enterprise can be modeled. You are in the sense the client enterprise. It can be modeled to meet the legal and management requirements. If you look at the architecture, whenever you look at the architecture of any application or any product, there are three things that you have to focus on. What is the user interface? What is the front end? What is the back end? And what do you have in the middle layer? So at the top end or in the front end or in the user interface, you have the Oracle, the ADF or Oracle Jet pages deployed, and that will form the user interface. And what do you have in the user interface? You have the product families. Or depending on what modules client wants to implement, those modules will show up in the user interface. And at the back end, what do you have? You have an Oracle database sitting in Oracle Cloud. And you have, yes, of course, the database has the schemas and it has the tables as well. But what is the biggest limitation of Oracle ERP Cloud? You don't get access to this database. Meaning you cannot connect to this database and create a table. You cannot create a PL/SQL package and compile it there. And because of which that changes the scope and life of a technical consultant. Okay, that changes the way we build RISE components in ERP Cloud. Or the way you build RISE components in ERP Cloud, yes, you have to build RISE components, but the way you build RISE components in ERP Cloud is completely different from how you do it in eBusiness Suite. Okay, and that's because of the limitation of the cloud. You don't get access to the database. And what do you have in the middle layer? In the middle layer, if it is an eBusiness Suite, you just have WebLogic server. Okay, and that's it. Everything else, there might be few other components like the form server and the report server. But if you take the Fusion applications, the ERP Cloud leverages multiple components of Fusion applications. It leverages a business intelligence, Oracle Business Intelligence, which can be used to build BIP or OTBI reports. You have Oracle BPM Suite, which can be used to define the workflows. You have WebLogic server, which is a key server that responds to the request, and you have Oracle Identity Management, which will look after the user creation and other stuff. You have Oracle Web Center, which will act like an FTP server for ERP Cloud. In eBusiness Suite, you get an FTP server, right? So whenever you get a new eBusiness Suite instance, what details do they share with you? They will share the application URL and logins. They will share you the database details and the logins, and they will also share FTP credentials. When you get new ERP Cloud instance, the only thing you get is ERP Cloud URL, and there's nothing else to share as well. You just get the Oracle ERP Cloud URL and the username and password, and that's it. And yes, because of which there are some supporting services or supporting middleware components that are used to support the Oracle ERP Cloud, and these components help ERP Cloud and support it very well. And you have something called as Oracle Enterprise Scheduler here. What will this do? In ERP Cloud, if you define a BA Publisher report, you will have to you might want to give access to your business user to run that report, right? So the way you do it in eBusiness Suite is you create a concurrent program, and you so that the user will log into the application, eBusiness Suite application, and they will submit the concurrent program. But when it comes to ERP Cloud, you don't have concurrent programs. They are replaced by ESS jobs, something called as ESS job, Enterprise Scheduler Service Jobs, ESS jobs. So that ESS jobs is supported by a middleware component called Oracle Enterprise Scheduler. Okay, you don't have to remember everything. Don't think that there are too many components. Yeah, as we progress in the course, you will be able to understand how each and every component that you see here is being used. Probably if you come back to this slide after a couple of weeks of training, you will appreciate this better. Yeah, coming to the most important bit. What will I do, or what am I supposed to do as a technical consultant? What will be my work like? So the Fusion technical consultant, one of his main job would be to load data into cloud. The data might be lying in in-house applications or legacy system or eBusiness Suite instance or any third party. It doesn't really matter what the data source is. My job is to load the data, extract the data from there, and dump it into cloud. How do I do it? Can I write in eBusiness Suite? What do? You will build an inbound integration, inbound interface, and that will do the job for you. And what components do you have in that inbound interface? You will build an SQL loader program. You will ask the client to place the file in FTP server. The loader will pick up that file and dump it into stage tables. Then you will write a PLSQL package. You will validate the data in the staging tables, and then you will try to import it into the eBusiness Suite by invoking, by submitting a standard program, or by invoking an API. But all of it is not possible in ERP Cloud. In ERP Cloud, you don't get access to the database, which means you cannot create a table or you cannot compile a PLSQL package in the cloud applications. All you have to do is there are some seeded or out of the box data loader options provided by Oracle. Okay, so it's like Oracle has given some standard data loader options like HCM data loader, file-based data loader. File-based data loader is another important one that is missing in this slide. Spreadsheet data loader, payroll batch loader. So you have these loader options provided by Oracle. And how will these loader options work in general? In general, what you do is there will be templates provided by Oracle, Excel templates. You will download the Excel template. You will extract the data from in-house applications. You will dump the data into the Excel sheet in the Excel template. You will generate a data file. And after you generate the data file, you will log into the Fusion applications and you will run a couple of jobs there. First, you will run the loader job. That loader job will dump the data from the file into interface tables, and then you run the import job. Okay. So you might be wondering, what if I want to do some validations? What if I want to run some custom validations on top of the data before it is imported? That is not possible in Fusion applications. It's hard to digest, but yes, it's not possible because all you can do is, all you have to do is dump the data into Excel sheets, generate a file, and load that file into cloud by running a couple of jobs. No way you can plug in the validation. So that's why if you have to validate the data, you will validate the data in the source system itself from where you are extracting the data. You will do the validations there itself, and only the data that is good to go to cloud, you will get that data from the in-house applications, dump it into sheets, generate a data file, and load it in the ERP Cloud. Okay. And coming to the other side of the story. So what do you? So after loading the data, what is it that you need to do? You need to extract the data and share it with downstream systems. Downstream systems are other in-house applications. How do you do it? You could do it with the help of these options provided by Oracle. If you want to extract the data from HCM applications, you could write a HCM extract. If it is a finance or SCM related applications, you could write a BIP report. BIP reports, they are typically used to build reports in ERP Cloud or in eBusiness Suite. But in ERP Cloud, you could use a BIP report to extract the data and share it with downstream systems as well. So the way it works is, you will write BIP report and then you will implement bursting in there. And with the bursting feature, you could generate a file and you could upload that file to UCM, or you could deliver that file to the destination. Okay, you could send it as an email, you could send it to UCM, or you could upload, you could push the file to SFTP as well. So the BA publisher and OTBA, these two components can be used to build reports, and they are also used to build. They are also used to extract the data from Fusion applications and share it with downstream systems. And apart from these components, you also have something called as web services, which can be used to pull the information from Fusion applications. There are some standard web services provided by Oracle, which the in-house applications or third-party applications can invoke to get the data from Fusion applications. You also have web services to push the data to cloud applications. And when it comes to reporting, you have two options. You could report, it could be reporting on transactional data, or it could be reporting on balances, GL balances. When it is when you have to report on transactional data, you have two options: a BA publisher report or OTBA reports. And when do you build a report as a BAP report? When you build it as an OTBA report, if you have to deal with high volume of the data, And if the output format of the report is fixed, then you go for BA Publisher report. If the report that you build is just to do some ad hoc analysis, and if you want to get the output and display it in a graphical format as you see in this picture, and if you want the output format to be flexible, because very frequently that if you have, if there is a chance that the requirement changes quite frequently, then it makes sense to build it as an OTBA report as opposed to BAP report. In BAP report, you will have to do a lot of background work, like you have to build SQL queries, you have to create data model, then you have to create report layout. So there are a lot of steps involved here, involved in BAP report. But in OTBA, you don't have all those steps. All you do is you select a subject area, you select the attributes you want to include as part of your report, and that's it. And when it comes to reporting on balances, you have two options: financial reporting at SmartView. What kind of reports are we talking about when we say reports related to GL balances? We're talking about income statement report. We're talking about balance sheet reports or profit and loss statements. So that kind of a GL related reports, if you want to build them, if you want to build a polished report, you could do it using a financial reporting center, FRC. If you want to do some ad hoc analysis just for your analysis purpose, and you don't have intention to publish this as a report, then you could build it with the help of a SmartView. FRS, it's a software that you need to download and install, and then you have to build your report in there and deploy it to the cloud application. But in the case of SmartView, it's just an Excel plugin. It's a plugin in your Excel software. And you could install the plugin, and after you install the plugin, you will be able to build the report and do the analysis. And let's talk about customizations now. So yes, we know that there are limitations in cloud. Yes, we know that you don't get access to the database. But even if you don't get access to the database, there are some customizations you could do in the user interface. So in the user interface, after you log into the ERP cloud, what changes can you do? You could capture additional information by using flex fields. You could add custom fields on any particular screen if user wants to capture additional information. You could do it with the help of flex fields. There are three types of flex fields available in cloud: descriptive flex fields, key flex fields, and extensible flex fields. We'll talk about these in detail in one of the sessions. In eBusiness Suite, you have DFF and KFF. EFF is something new in ERP Cloud. And you could also modify the existing fields, like if you want to hide some, if your client wants you to hide some field or make some field mandatory or make it read only, you could make some changes like that, some minor changes like that. And if user doesn't like the look and feel of the application, or if he wants you to upload their logo onto the application, yes, those are the things that you could do. You could tailor the user interface, you could modify existing fields, and you could add custom fields, and you could also, this is fine, this is not something very relevant. How does the security work in ERP Cloud? It works on the basis of roles. So it's like security in ERP Cloud. If you have to explain it in one simple statement, you could say that who security in ERP Cloud controls who can do what on which set of data. So if you take a couple of examples, if you take the employee, what he should be able to do when he log into ERP Cloud, he should be able to view the payslip. And whose payslip he should be able to view? Only his payslip, not only his payslip, right? Not his peers. And similarly, if a line manager logs into ERP Cloud application, what he should be able to do? He should be able to give hike to the employees. And to whose employees he will be able to give? He should be able to give only to those employees who report to him or the workers in their hierarchy, not to everyone else or not to anyone else. So this is how. So yes, how can all of this be controlled in security? It is controlled with the help of roles. So typically, you will have a user will be created first in ERP Cloud, and to the user you will assign roles, and those roles and the roles you assign to the user will determine what user will be able to perform in the ERP Cloud application, what he will be able to see when he log in, and what he will be able to do inside the application. all of it is controlled on the basis of roles. What kind of roles do you have in ERP Cloud? You have data roles, you have abstract roles, you have job roles, aggregate privileges, duty roles. So it takes at least a couple of hours to talk about the security in detail. Okay, it works in a completely different way from e-business suite. And can we configure approvals in ERP Cloud? Yes, you can. Can we define? Can I define my own rules? Yes, you can also do that. Say for example, if your client says that when an employee is hired, say for example, you are hiring an employee. When you hire an employee, it will be sent to your manager for approval first. After he approves it, it will be sent to your manager's manager. And after he approves it, it will go to it should go to payroll manager. And after the payroll manager approves, for your information kind of a notification should go to recruiter, so that recruiter can start the onboarding process. So if this is a kind of approval process that your client is looking for, is it achievable in ERP Cloud? Yes, it is pretty much achievable. You could write your own approval rules in ERP Cloud. You could define. You could first of all define whether you want to approval for a specific business process, yes or no. When employees had, do you want it to run through the approval cycle before the data is inserted into base tables? If you say yes, if you say no, when employees had, he will be automatically inserted into the base tables. But if you say yes, if you enable approvals, then you could also decide whom you could also configure the approval rules. Whom should it be sent to how many levels, and what kind of notification need to be sent. You could control all of it. And approvals in ERP Cloud it is supported by business process management in the background. Okay, so we'll see all of it when we do the workflows. And the detailed overview of the course content, you could yeah, it's not attached in the handouts in this particular session, but you could get this PDF document from the Training Institute, and these are the topics we're going to cover as part of the training course. So if I walk you through the course content on a high level, we'll start with the introduction to Fusion Cloud applications. We'll walk you through the navigation, because we are currently doing this bit, introduction to cloud applications. Even though we call it a demo session, it's not a demo session, it's an actual continuation of the course. So probably tomorrow we'll start off with the navigation in ERP Cloud. So we'll log into the ERP Cloud instance, and I'll walk you through the navigation. So how does an ERP Cloud instance look like? It looks completely different from an e-business suite instance. So the forms that you see, or the OAF pages that you have in e-business suite, all of it is gone now. So we will start off with the basics. Some of you might be seeing that ERP Cloud instance for the first time. So we spend enough time to make you comfortable with the navigation in ERP Cloud. So we'll start off with the basics. We'll log into the application and we'll see what each and every option is all about. So we talk about the navigation and we talk about the functional setup manager. This is an important concept you need to know. When functional consultant needs to do the setups, he will have to use a functional setup manager. So what options are available in there, we'll explore it. And apart from that, we will also talk about value sets and lookups. We will create value sets and we will attach them to flex fields, and we will deploy the flex fields and see how the flex fields work in ERP Cloud application. We'll look at the enterprise structures. We'll look at the O2C and P2P cycles, order to cash and procure to pay cycles. Then we'll start off with the cloud security, where we talk about different types of roles. How does security work? We'll start off by creating a user. We will assign roles to the users, and we will see from a different browser, we will try to log in as that user, and we will see what changes the roles that we are adding to the user makes to his profile in the application. We'll talk about the different types of roles and what exactly are they meant for. Then we will start off with the technical components. We'll cover the BAP module. These are the topics that we cover. We'll cover a financial reporting center. We'll cover OTBI. We'll cover the data loaders. We'll cover file-based FPDA, HDL, SDL, file-based data import, spreadsheet data loader, HCM data loader. These are the most commonly used data loaders. And we'll cover HCM extracts, which is basically used to extract data from HCM Cloud. We will briefly walk you through how you can use a web services to insert data into cloud application or to extract data out of cloud application. We'll show you how to configure workflow approvals and notifications. We'll show you how to use fast formulas, and we walk you through the personalization options. Okay. Any questions, guys? Any questions in today's session, or any questions you have in general about Fusion applications?
No.
Okay. So are we good? No questions as such, right? Okay. Fine then.
Shiva, I have one question. Sorry.
Yes.
Can I
Yes,
ask
please.
like during this course, there will be some hands-on, like you'll be logging to the clouds or something like that?
All the sessions will be hands-on, no theory. So you might be today we have seen only the theory bit, but from tomorrow onwards, no slides. Yeah, we will have slides, but we'll just have instructions in there to help you if you want to practice. It will be all hands-on. So when I say we cover these many topics, all these topics, a few concepts like we might cover as theory, but all the technical components or most of the components that you see here, it will be a hands-on. So when we say BIP, yes, we get our hands dirty. We will log into the we'll go to the reports and analytics work area and we'll create a BIP report. It's all hands-on sessions. You will also get access to the ERP cloud instance, and you could also practice after the session is over. You will also get access to the video recordings, so you could follow the video and you could practice it on your own. And if you get any questions, you could ask me the next day, either after the session or before the session.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for your time. If you have any questions if you have any other questions, you could talk to the training institute for that. Okay. So if you want to if you want to ask anything, or if you want something to be clarified with me, you could ask the training institute to send it across to me. If you have any questions in particular to the training course content, or if you need some more clarity on it, you could ask you could send the question to the training institute and you could ask them to share it with me. Okay. Thank you, guys. We'll meet again tomorrow then. Thanks for your time.